The next operation is deleting an element from an array. Deleting an element from an array means removing data element from an already existing array and then reorganizing all of the remaining array elements after performing the deletion. If the element has to be deleted from the end of the existing array means the task of deletion is going to be very simple. We just have to subtract 1 from the upper bound. This is going to be our upper bound, which means in an array the last position where the data element has been stored is going to be the upper bound. Here if you take this given example, array name is ARR, so the array size we have given here is 8 and the total number of elements we have stored inside an array is 6 and the value which you want to delete is going to be 12, which means it is located at the end of an array. Let's take one example. So the array is declared to store the marks of all the students in the class for the subject data structures. Let's take this as an example. So the array size which I have given is 60, why? Because there are totally 60 students in the class. I just want to store all their marks in an array. Now just imagine the student with roll number 60 wants to leave the course, which means the last registered number student wants to leave the course. The score of this student was stored in score of this student was stored in 60th index, which means the last position. Simple, we just have to decrement the upper bound. If you decrement the upper bound, subtracting 1 from the upper bound will indicate that there are only 59 valid data in the array. That's it. So if you want to delete the last element, it's going to be very simple. Let's write the pseudocode for it. Let's take this array as an example. Array size is 8, totally 6 elements are there in an array. The value 12 you want to delete, which is located at the end of an array. Let's write the pseudocode. Simply reduce the upper bound position. Set, subtract 1 from the upper bound. Set upper bound equals to upper bound minus 1. That's it. Now upper bound would come here, which means this element will not be considered till this zone. Only the elements, the data elements will be considered in an array. This element would not be considered. This is how we'll be performing the deletion at the end of an array. Now if you want to delete an element from the middle of an array or from the beginning, in the element which is located at the beginning of an array, then it's not a trivial task, because on an average if you want to delete some value at the middle, on an average we might have to move as much as half of the elements from their positions in order to occupy the space of the deleted element. For example, if you I want to let's take one example and then I'll explain. If you want to perform deletion at the beginning or somewhere in the middle other than the last element, somewhere in the middle of an array, it's not going to be this simple. Why? Because if you want to delete so and so element, the space would be empty, right? So you need to compensate the space. So you are supposed to shift all the elements one position to its left so that the array would look complete at the end. Let's take one example again. We'll just take the same example only with size 8. Array name is ARR and the elements are 8, 15, 3, 20, 10 and 12. These are the elements. Now imagine that array sizes as usual it is going to be 8 only. Total number of elements, let's add one more element also, which is 6. Okay, total number of elements are there in the array is 7 and the value which I want to delete is this 20. Value which I want to delete is 20, which means the position, the value which is there in position 3 I want to delete. If I delete this space would be empty now, right? So which means deleting in the sense we are not erasing the element, just we are changing all the elements, all the remaining elements right from the position, right from the next position of the next place of the position, all other elements till the end we are just going to shift one position to its left. Now the array would look complete finally. Let's write pseudocode for it, which means right from here you are just going to shift all the elements to its left, right? Let's write the pseudocode, use one for loop, because recursively you are just going to do the same operation till the end. Recursively you are just going to shift all other elements, all the remaining elements to its left, right? So start from the position, because we are going to start from here only. We are just going to start filling the place from the position, which means from the index 3 only. So I should start from position I pointer, and always you need to check for the condition whether I is lesser than n minus 1, because if the elements are 7, n value 7, till n minus 1th index the elements would be there in the array, right? So the condition should be if I is only lesser than n minus 1, which means till the last element, and I plus plus. And next is if the condition is satisfied, yes, I value is pointing position only, I is lesser than n minus 1, yes, I is lesser than n minus 1, I is 3, n minus 1 is 6, yes, 3 is lesser than 6 only, which means as a next step in the place of array of I, which means in the ith place you can put the next element, the element which is there in the next cell. So we can write like this, array of I equals to array of I plus 1. In the place of array of I plus 1th value we are writing. Now after performing this step, in the place of 20, 10 would come. After writing this, we are supposed to increment I. Now I would be pointing the position, pointing the index 4. Again check for the condition. Now I value equals to, after incrementing I value would be 4, and now I value is 4, n minus 1 is 6, yes, 4 is lesser than 6 only, which means again we can shift in the place of array of I, you can write array of I plus 1, right? So this is my I, and in the place of I am going to write array of I plus 1, which is 12. After writing this, I am supposed to increment the I pointer. Now I pointer would be pointing here. I value is 5 now. So check whether 5 is lesser than n minus 1. Yes, 5 is lesser than n minus 1. If so, perform this step again. In the place of array of I, write array of I plus 1. Sorry, 6. I plus 1 is 6. And then again, increment. After executing this statement, we are supposed to increment the I pointer. Check again. Now I value 6. I value 6, n minus 1 is also 6, whether 6 is lesser than 6? No. If so, we cannot perform this statement. Why? Because this condition is not satisfied. So we have to come out of the loop, come out of the for loop. After coming out of the loop, just simply here also 6 and here also 6, right? Which means what? You want to delete the element at the in the middle, which means after deleting it, we are shifting all the elements, we are just shifting, right? So that the deleted element can be occupied by rest of the elements. The space vacated by the deleted element can be occupied by rest of the elements. So come out of the loop, and now since I have deleted one element, which means since I haven't considered one element, I have to initially it was 7, after deleting one element it must be 6, which means n minus 1, right? You are supposed to set n equals to n minus 1. That's it. This is the pseudocode for performing deletion somewhere in the middle or also at the beginning of an array. Suppose if you want to delete the first element, again it's the same task only. Right from here, suppose to start from here, your position is going to be 0. So always you have to show the position only. So we must first to find the location from where the element has to be deleted, and then move all the elements one position towards the left, so that the space vacated by the deleted element can be occupied by rest of the elements, the remaining elements. If you want to perform deletion at the beginning also, 0 is going to be your position. Right from 0, right from 1, after 0 the next cell is, next index is 1, right from 1 till n minus 1, all the elements you are supposed to shift one position to its left. So to perform deletion at the beginning as well as somewhere in the middle, this is the pseudocode. We are supposed to follow these statements. This is how we are supposed to perform deletion operation in an array. Thank you.